Hello, I'm Lora Shields, Staff Developer at Shelby County Public Schools in Shelbyville, Kentucky. Welcome to the vodcast series, Shelby Speaks, Looking Forward. We chose that title because we're looking forward to the time when we can be face-to-face with our students again, and we're also looking forward in time to the educational future of our district. What are Shelby County teachers learning in the middle of this non-traditional instruction experience? And how will it transfer and transform their classrooms when we are once again face-to-face with students? In this episode, we're here today with Simpsonville Elementary teachers J.P. LaVertu, Health and PE teacher. Welcome, J.P.
Hello, thank you.
And Traci Slayton, art teacher. Welcome, Traci.
Thank you. Hello.
So in this podcast, I really wanted to talk with essential arts teachers and health and PE teachers about how the structures that you have in place in everyday face-to-face instruction have transformed now that you're in NTI mode. So JP, let's hear what health and PE is looking like in an elementary school these days.
Well, it's completely changed. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot different than having 30, 40 kids in a gym in one spot and then having 30 or 40 on Zoom meetings. So it has changed a whole lot. So, mostly I've been doing Zoom meetings with my kids, but I also developed some video series as well. And they're on YouTube, and I can share those with the kids, with their teachers. And I didn't really focus on traditional physical education. I wanted them to understand that they can get exercise at home without actually truly being exercised, just helping around the house, doing chores, doing good deeds for their neighbors. And that's what I focus mostly on, as well as some lessons with Zoom and meeting time with them.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you're really kind of honing in on the idea of helping your students be global citizens while they're exercising, so they're helping others.
Just trying to make those connections. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Traci, how have things changed for art?
Oh, well, my thinking now, let me just say this. When I first packed my things to come home, I thought we'd be back in 2 or 3 weeks. I brought home things I would make for a future performance, and I thought I would reach out to kids and have them help me with things like that. Totally different. Now my thinking is, what can I do that's valuable with the materials that kids have at home? And I wasn't prepared for that. So it's paper and pencil. And so a lot of what's come out of it is problem solving, what you can do. Like yesterday's lesson that I had was a pop-up, I don't know if you can see that, Mother's Day card. And it has an "I love you" hand. And so it was a lot of direction following. And I told them, what I found. I'm gonna grab again. This is a challenge for me. Materials. Grab, where are they? Can you see me? And I get really close. Can y'all see this? I cut, because I don't have all the materials. I cut a card out. I told him to get colored paper. So I said, this, it could be a Post-it note or a brown bag. And so problem solving has been a big thing. So didn't expect that. I thought at first I would just keep going with my agenda on what my curriculum looked like. No, that wasn't it at all. Not at all. And so what I found is what works for me is getting into other teachers' Zoom meetings and collaborating with them, finding out what they need, and, doing a little directed drawing that works. I've done some read alouds with the younger kids, and that works. So totally different.
Right. So you're having to innovate. Students are having to innovate. And then it sounds like you're finding that collaborating with other teachers about what's happening there is a way to really gain some traction and get some meaningful things done there too.
And I didn't know that, nobody knew. But JP and I have both worked that way. And he and I didn't talk that this is what our plan was going to be. It just evolved into that because it was practical. It worked.
So you both mentioned, of course, meeting with your students via Zoom, I'm sure is a new thing. What other new tools other than just innovating are you finding yourself using? Any strategies or tools outside of that? JP?
Well, I think Shelby County was ahead of the curve with our devices. I think that was huge. I don't know if you can forward think this thing out, but we were so far ahead, I think, of many school systems. We already had devices. We already had that infrastructure in place. And I think that was a huge help. But then on top of that, like Traci was saying, what kinds of things can we innovate on top of and problem solve throughout this thing to deliver quality content, but also to help these kids grow during this time. And that's the biggest thing is, I found myself at the very beginning telling myself when we're on these Zoom meetings, I can't freak out. I can't. That I'm nervous doing these types of things and that I'm worried about them. But that's one of the biggest things that I learned is just to roll with it and do as best we can with the situation we have. And I think our principals and our administrative staff and the support staff that we have at school, without their innovation and without them letting us have that flexibility and really pushing us to think outside the box, really has helped us through this. And that's one of the biggest things that I can see.
Yes, I agree. The leadership has been amazing, exemplary. Traci, any other strategies or tools you've been using?
I guess Zoom, I had been on Zoom meetings and very few, like maybe I can count on one hand how many Zoom meetings I'd had before. So Zoom is new. Another thing that was new to me that I initially started trying that I plan to use later, I didn't really use, I use Zoom more, but photo booth on our MacBooks, that is going to be something I'll use to collaborate when we get back into the buildings. I love how you said brick and mortar, into the brick and mortar school building. That was so funny. Because I think I've liked being able to collect. One of the things I did was I did a symmetry art lesson with their name. You know, you can tell it's a name. It's Here's my challenge. Can you see this?
Yes.
See my name's in there. Is that backwards? It looks backwards to me. I don't know. All the things. So, my point is, I could video through photo booth and say, "Hey, teachers, can you play a little clip at morning meetings?" So virtual me can get into all the classes. And I hadn't really thought that. Now. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah. And JP, I was thinking about that too with your YouTube videos. Have you thought about how when you're face to face with them, how those might be used? Or
I hope to use them even continue using them, putting them out there, just so that the kids can make those connections that traditional exercise doesn't have to look like gym. You can get exercise and do great things for your neighbors, for your parents outside of school, and it doesn't have. And you can make those connections with being physically fit and active throughout your whole life, and not just PE days. You know what I mean, or out on the playground. And that's what I hope they learn is the importance of being physically active and all the time, not just because it's required. So
right. And you're really helping them to make that connection around here's how I can innovate, to Traci's point, and then here's how I can really be a citizen and connect what I'm learning in school to my real life. And it's really about making it real, right?
Absolutely.
So
yes, JP's students, my next door neighbors are Simpsonville students, and they told me they were picking up sticks. One of JP's exercise activities was to pick up sticks in the yard, and the parents were like, "Hey, look, we're doing our PE right now." I said, "Really?"
That's awesome.
They did it.
So as Traci said, we could not have ever predicted, how this all has come down and the situation we're in educationally right now. But if you think back to the things that you've learned through this, through Zoom, through having to help students innovate, to having to really think about kids making personal connections, even in PE, what advice would you give to yourself, to yourself that was 3 or 4 months ago in thinking about planning forward for your future classroom? Traci, let's start with you on that one.
Okay. I don't know. There's all kinds of advice. I was kind of frozen when we first got home. Walked around. My plants were great. Like while I was thinking what I was going to do, I was watering my plants. I needed to just calm down. So I'd say, calm down, get over it. Your agenda is not going to work. This is different. But looking forward, I want to take what I've learned and maybe do some clubs after school. Like when they get home, maybe I'm still at school. Maybe it's once a week on the weekend for enrichment and for remediation. Is that's a big thing that stuck out. I would be doing a lesson and there would be a kid that just watched the whole time. I would say, get a piece of paper, pencil, scissors, and the teacher would tell them the day before, and everybody had their materials, but there'd be 1 or 2 kids just sitting under a blanket. And so reaching out to those kids, it was very apparent because you see everybody very close on your screen who, maybe mom and dad are working in the other room. They can't monitor that. We're in the same boat here. I'm in the same boat. Like, did you do it? Okay. Oh, I'm in another meeting. I can't check. Did you do it? Did you really do it? So remediation and enrichment, there were kids on the Zoom meetings that were bored because I was repeating the direction for someone who came on late. So all those things happened in the classroom too. It was really close and on the screen and easy to see in this format.
Yeah. So you're really realizing, that bit of grace sometimes that you have to give and ways to catch kids up.
Right.
Something. Yeah.
And I missed being able to say, if you miss this direction, a partner at your table can tell you later. We couldn't do that.
Right.
So I haven't solved that problem yet.
Right.
But one of our art teachers who is in Oldham County now, Mackenzie Hunter, what she does in the classroom that I haven't done yet, but I'll share her ideas. She wouldn't mind. She videos her lessons on the document camera, and she runs a silent loop while kids are working, and so they can look at that loop. That if they know that if they missed a step, it's part of her process when she's teaching. It's so smart. I haven't integrated that yet, but I always think, oh, I should have done that. But I probably will do that.
Yeah, YouTube that, and then kids could access it, right? So, JP, what would you tell your pre-NTI self?
Be prepared for anything and everything that you could imagine. There's no blueprint for what we're, this new normal, so to speak. I learned at a very early time as a PE teacher to be flexible, but this takes it to a whole new level. So flexibility and willingness to collaborate with people across all grade levels in different schools, even throughout the whole school community, district-wide, is hugely important. Collaborating with different principals in different buildings, just through your own school principal, and just bouncing ideas off of one another. just learning how to laugh with your kids when things don't go right, when a lesson you're like, oh my goodness, I had this perfectly in my head, and then now it didn't work right, and just being able to laugh with them about it. And same thing, crying with them. I mean, there's mornings when my own children get up and they're not wanting to do it, and you just have to think about, man, their whole world has been turned upside down. My fourth grader can't go into and ask her teacher what exactly is this, and just putting that mindset, trying to wrap your mind around kids' thinking process, and it's been mind blowing. But the best thing I can think or come out of this is we once again with profile of graduate, with our independent learning and our individualized learning program that we have. A lot of kids have thrived in it. My other daughter, that's going into high school next year, has blossomed into this fantastic writer, and she has put together multiple projects on things that she's so passionate about. And some kids, it's what they need, so to speak. We didn't all need this, but there's a lot of kids that have really, really thrived in this because it's more of personalized learning, and it's a fantastic way for them to learn. So there's goods and bads on both ends of it, both spectrums. I've got one that really had struggled a little bit, one that's blossomed. So just being flexible and putting yourself in their mindset as a teacher it is just eye-opening.
Yeah. So. Well, I want to thank you both for sharing how you yourselves have shown grace to students and innovated and been collaborators to really help students not only to make it through this, but really to thrive. So I really appreciate you all being with us today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, be sure to check out our Shelby Speaks Looking Forward playlist on our Shelby County Public Schools YouTube channel for more podcast episodes. Thanks for watching.